G'day guys, welcome back. My name is Wildkard. Thank you for being here and watching my content. I really do appreciate it. And as always, it is my pleasure and the absolute privilege to talk about Super Rugby quarterfinals, the Crusaders against the Fijian Drua. The first time the Drua has made into the quarterfinals, and it's the second year for the Druas in the competition. So really impressive for them to achieve this feat. But yeah, talk about being thrown into the deep end. They're literally against the dynasty, the best team in the elimination round, the best team in Super Rugby, probably the best championship team in the world, against the Crusaders. Away in New Zealand, Orange Theatre Stadium is about as hard as you can possibly imagine for any team to overcome going into a quarterfinal elimination style game. Crusaders, as always, came out of the gates extremely polished, extremely aggressive, and put on 3 tries in 10 minutes? 10 minutes? What was the exact time? Yeah, in 15 minutes, the Crusaders scored 3 tries. Yeah, incredibly impressive. The Crusaders, so one of the things I'm guessing the Crusaders does is they drill their set piece. They drill the set piece. They drill their moves in the line out. They drill their moves on the back line. And when they get out on the field, when they're fresh, they're able to pull off their set piece, their line outs, their attack patterns, their attack moves to perfection, to absolute surgical accuracy and breakneck speed. And they've done this again and again, not just against Honduras, against every team in the competition. The Crusaders has been able to come out and just blown the competition away in the first 10-15 minutes. This is no question that no matter who it is, it's always the case. So for the Honduras to concede 3 tries in 15 minutes, it's not really like something that's I wouldn't consider that something that's unexpected. That's something that the Crusaders done really well against the best teams in the competition. But just like always, the Crusaders kind of has that dip, and then they slowly trickles down towards the end of the second half. But the Honduras was just really, I think the moment may have got to them a little bit. Obviously, the speed, the experience going into the quarterfinal, the next the teams being asked to take the next level is probably just a little bit too much. The Honduras started off trying to play like the set piece style as the Crusaders, but they're just completely outmatched. And then Honduras found themselves in a lot of success with their broken set play, quick taps, fast balls, running style rugby, and really put a big hamper on the Crusaders. But yeah, in the end of the day, the Crusaders just too much power, too much control, too much talent, and big win for the Crusaders, 49 points to 8 in the end. I don't really know what to say. I think it is just one of those things where the Crusaders have so many years of experience preparing. It's not just like they prepared the whole season. They have so many seasons where they've gone into the quarterfinals, gone into the semi-finals, gone into the grand finals, at home, away. There's like a lineage of players, from passing down this sort of knowledge and experience. And then, that's what Crusaders had going into this game. Whereas in Honduras, this is the first time going to the quarterfinals. It is just what it is. It's the difference is just too big, and it's not really Honduras' fault. Not because Honduras played poorly, but it's just the difference between time and experience, and the depth of the team. There was a bit of an interesting thing going into the end of the game. The Crusaders was down to 13 players. Yes, due to their own injuries. I think Crusaders obviously had a massive lead going into the final 20 minutes or so. They felt very confident to win the game, so they wanted to take players off for safety. So Ethan Blackadder, someone I've been looking forward to playing a lot for the Crusaders, one of the key players that the All Blacks needs going into the Rugby World Cup, as Blackadder is that extra loose forwards, also third line-out jumper. He's like an actual blindside flanker, and as opposed to Scotty Barrett was actually a lock, been put in the blindside flanker, and I felt like Blackadder is really important for that blindside flanker position for the All Blacks. He's taken off a bit of a leg niggling thing. He's okay. And then Richie Mwanga, I saw, look at he pulled up, may have had a bit of a cramps or whatever. He was taken off as well. So Crusaders had to play with 13 players with about the last, almost last 20 minutes. And, 13 players for the last 10 minutes. Blackadder came off with about 20 minutes left, so they had to play with about 20 minutes with about 10 minutes with 10 players, and then the last 10 minutes with about with 13 players left on the field against the Drua. And even with the players in the bin, the Crusaders, you can see here, was able to put on two tries with 2 players off the field. Still really, really impressive. Just went to their bread and butter with the set piece, with the structure, and the best defense is an offense. So Crusader just held on to the reins. Whenever they got a penalty, they just hit hard on the breakdown to force the penalties. And once they got the penalties, it's no, you figure they will kick for 3 points to try to run the clock down. No, they just kept the pressure on. If Honduras can't score, if they don't have the ball, right? So Crusaders kept the pressure on and then actually managed to score with the players off the field, which was really, really, really impressive. Overall, the match stats: 7 tries to the Crusaders, the Honduras 1, 550 run meters, the Honduras 321, 150 carries to Crusaders, Honduras 100. For the first half, the Crusaders really dominated about 30 minutes or so. The Honduras hardly touched the ball. The second half, Honduras was able to get themselves back into the track quite a bit. And, at halftime, the turnovers conceded for the Crusaders, 19 overall. The Honduras only 13. So Crusaders actually conceded more turnovers than the Honduras of this game, something that they really wanted to fix that up going into the going to the semi-finals. The tackle count: 116 tackles made for the Crusaders, 12 missed tackles. So the Crusaders really managed well in terms of not giving the ball to the Honduras and not allowing them to play that attacking style that we very often see the Honduras run away with the game with 500 run meters, making the opposition do 150 to 200 tackles. The Crusaders have figured that one out to, not kick the ball away, knowing that the Honduras can attack quite well. So the Crusaders was able to hold possession for a large part of the game. The Honduras themselves had to make 173 tackles, 34 missed tackles, not too bad overall. Kicks in play: 22 kicks in play for the Crusaders, 15 for the Honduras. Perfect conversion for Richie Moanga. Honduras had 1 missed conversion, but they did manage to get 1 penalty. So there was a bit of interesting with this penalty as well. The Honduras was down 21 points to 0 after the first 15 minutes, and the first opportunity they got inside the Crusaders half, after putting quite a bit of pressure on, I felt, they opted to take the 3 points. I mean, it is really hard. You're down 21 points. You going for 3 to try to settle the nerves a little bit. It just tells it is 100% not because of the 3 points. They felt like that was going to make a difference in the larger scheme of things, but they really just wanted to settle their nerves to get something on the ball so that they can mentally at least feel positive about the outcome of their visit to the Crusaders. Crusaders half. The first visit, Crusaders don't want to walk away with 3 points. I really, even though the correct decision there should have been going for the try. It just comes down to experience. Again, the big occasion of being in the quarterfinals really kind of made the Honduras make the wrong decision there to take the 3 points. Lineouts 11-8. We have no stats when lineout lost. The scrums, again, there was another part. This is a huge dominance for the Crusaders. Was able to dominate the scrum every time. In fact, when they get the penalties, they can either go for the scrum or go for the lineouts, and both of them were quite effective in getting another penalty. In fact, the scrum was more consistent in getting a penalty. A lot of these penalties Honduras considered were the scrum penalties. The overall Crusaders considered 9 penalties to the Honduras 12. So let's go through some of the tries. There's not really much to talk about. The Crusaders, way too polished, way too clinical right out of the gate. They started the game in the front 4 from the kickoff. The Braden Anor gets the ball, just some really just training field sort of play, halfway midfield. Good hands to Braden Anor. Bit of footwork. Anor was able to step through a bunch of players, 3 or 4 players, shrugged off a number of tackles as well. Eventually, he got brought down really close to the try line. And then Oli Jaeger, pick and go, quick ball, try time, 1 minute on the clock. This was brutal. Drua was almost looked shell-shocked. starting off with that game. And then a few minutes later, Crusaders from the kickoff essentially basically gets a penalty. They take the penalty into the Drua's 22 for a more, and then Crusaders, one of the best set piece in the world, sets up the more, and Cody Taylor goes in for the second try. Less than 5 minutes already, Crusaders 14 points to nil. The on the 10 minutes mark, again, Crusaders gets another penalty. They go for another more, and it's the exact same play, but on the opposite side of the field. One on the left, second one on the right. Just another more. Cody Taylor got really close, peels off. Good low body position, jumps over for the second try for the Crusaders. 30 minutes in, Crusaders up 21 points to nil. Finally, around about 20-minute mark, the Druas were finally able to get themselves inside the Crusaders 22, inside the Crusaders half, in fact. Was building some really good pressure. I think it was like 12 or 13 phases, and then they got a penalty advantage. I really thought the Druas should probably back themselves a little bit. You really should have probably backed themselves. 3 points is really neglectable at this point. They really wanted to calm their nerves, I guess. They opted for 3, so 21 points to 3, 20 minutes into the game. A few minutes later, 33 minutes into the game, there was another scrum penalty against the Endurers. The Crusaders. There was a penalty for the Endurers. There was a penalty for the Crusaders. They opt for the scrum. They get another scrum penalty, and then instead of going for another scrum, the Crusaders kind of felt like they're beating a dead horse. They went for a quick tap, and then it was just quick tap, crash ball, and then Havili, quick pick and go. This is not David Havili. This was a different Havili. What's his name? Sione Havili picks up, goes over the next to the post for the fourth try for the Crusaders. 33 minutes into the game. A minute later after this try was scored, the Crusaders trying to run out of their own 22 following the kickoff. Will Jordan got a call from out wide and tries through a bit of a long pass to his lock. I think it was his lock that was asking for this, out on the wing. And then he gets intercepted by Ravu Tamanda. And Ravu Tamanda goes in just running free for the Fijians' first try. 28 points there. At this point, you think, maybe the the Endurers could come back. They've seen them come back with a bigger deficit in the past. I know that the Crusaders has a dip after they come out of the gates where they put on a lot of tries with a lot of teams. Going to halftime, the score was 28 points to 8. So the second half starts, the Endurers started to play more of a loose style rugby, more quick taps, more unstructured style. It seems to give them a lot of success, but the Crusaders defense, man, was just like a brick wall. It's not cracking. 4 minutes into the second half, Crusaders gets another penalty, methodically kicks the ball out for a more, and then the ball comes out to Ilawere, a big crash ball. He takes on the line and then one-handed offloads to Scotty Red Card Barrett, who crashes through for his first try ever for the Crusaders. Nah, just kidding. He's scored more tries before, but Scotty Barrett is one of those guys who just does all the work for the Crusaders and then just very rarely gets noticed and gets any points for himself. But it's good to see that Scotty Barrett crashes over for a try for the Crusaders here, 44 minutes in. And then the quick tack games starting to play in the favor for the Fijians. Got themselves a lot of control, a lot of dominance, but not really able to convert any of that into points. On 48 minutes into the game, Fijian Drua was playing this loose style. They kind of ran in, and then they got themselves the ball kind of come out loose in the rocks, and then I think it was Richie Muanga, maybe it was, who was it? There was one of the Crusaders players essentially punted the ball down the field, and then Will Jordan runs up, scoops up the ball, and he runs in for a beautiful try. And then the referee looked back. Will Jordan was actually offside when this loose ball was punted forward, so no try was got out of jail a bit for the Endura. 63 minutes into the game, 63 minutes. Ethan Blackadder gets taken off the field for a bit of a niggle on his legs, and then Crusaders ran out of substitutions at this point, so they're down to 14 men. The Endurers seems to have given a bit of a break here. But yeah, the Crusaders was just kept the pressure on, controlling its possessions, controlling the field positions, and then 65 minutes into the game, Crusaders was just pounding the Endurance try line. So it was really weird. There was a center field like crash ball where the ball kind of like just tackled in front of the goalpost, and all the Crusader players were lined up on the right hand side. Okay, so like literally there was half a field completely empty on the left hand side, all the Crusaders players on the right hand side for some reason, and then it was bait essentially. Will Jordan saw this, runs over to the open side. It was just acres of space. The ball goes out to him. The Cowboy Endurance player sweeps around trying to take him out. He gets tackled just short of try line, but Will Jordan reaches out, goes in for another try for the Crusaders. And then 17 minutes into the game, Richie Mo'unga pulls up running. Richie Mo'unga was targeted quite a bit this game. There was a few late shots on him throughout the game by the Endurers. Lomani, I think Frank Lomani was targeting him, was just putting a lot of shots on him. Like even there was a few really late ones as well. So Richie Mo'unga eventually felt like he got something maybe on his leg. He pulls up, and Crusaders take Crusaders. He was taken off the field, and then Crusaders was down to 13 players going into the last 10 minutes. And yeah, even with 13 players in the last 10 minutes, the Crusaders really show they know how to win a game. They know how to close out the game. Just good structure, good defense, and just being able to play the game in the right place of the field, and not just kicking the ball away unnecessarily, and ball in hand, just continued the pressure with attack, and eventually 77 minutes into the game, Crusaders gets a one final try. I think it was really nice, good set play. Can't remember exactly what happened, but yeah, Hines eventually goes in for the Crusaders on the 77th minute, and that was the end of the score. 49 points to 8. This was the biggest margin for the Crusaders in elimination rounds, in the championship rounds. It is what it is. Yeah, this was quite a difficult game for the Endurers, but this is a really good experience for the team, for the players. They're going to be playing against the All Blacks next year. Experiences like this is really, really, really good for the Fijians going into the international test matches against. Even in the World Cup, this would be really, really, really good experience. This is about as hard as you can get, as tough as you can get, and being able to mentally go through that in the test stage. It's something that endurers will definitely relish the experience. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe. I really do appreciate it. Have a good week if you are going to take a break from watching rugby. But yeah, I'll see you guys next week for the news. And like and comment, subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching. Cheers.